Will I, a person who is a huge fan of learning, discovering something new, gathering new experience, will I actually tell you to stop learning new stuff? Kinda yes, but mostly no. At the end of the day, I do think that learning some new stuff, gathering new experience and wisdom is something that is very good for your own development as a better human being over time. But in some cases you shall stop learning and start doing. And that's what today's video is about my personal experience with stopping to learn something and starting to do something, and how well did it work for me. More about that in a moment. But obviously before we begin, I have to tell you that this is Yury Experience, and here I share my various experiences about different topics. I do 2 videos per week, normally Mondays and Thursdays. Now I only do 1 video per week for some period of time because of various reasons. And if you will enjoy this video, please drop a like. You can also subscribe to the channel. You can also leave a comment, and that's pretty much it. Let's go. So in which cases shall you stop learning at some point and start maybe even ignoring new information? It is when we are talking about learning something about practical skills, about some characteristics that you want to develop in yourself, maybe about some abilities that you want to have or you want to develop again in yourself. Basically, imagine the situation. You learn information continuously over a long period of time, and you learn it from a good information source, being it some journal or maybe some good, qualitatively good influencer or whatnot. You are learning and you are getting motivated to change something, changing yourself, changing your environment. You hear from other people, you read about other people's experience, and you think, I can do it too, I want to have it too, so why don't I have it yet? And that is a question that at some point can disappoint you in yourself. I know so much about something, so why this information still doesn't help me? I know it, and why is my life still a disaster, or still not profitable, or still my skill set is not very good? And on a lot of occasions, it is because you learned a lot, you know a hell lot of theory, you can provide best advice in this freaking world, but you didn't experience it yourself. You are maybe a good teacher, it is possible, but you are not a good practitioner. And that is why you can advise people on having a better life, but you don't have a better life yourself. Because you only learned, you didn't really practice it. A good example here would be my way of building up my self-confidence, my self-esteem. At some point I discovered a lot of YouTubers, there are a hell lot of YouTubers that are talking about self-esteem, self-confidence, how can you get it, what can you do about your life in order to make your life better. In order to get recognition, in order to get a better life, maybe better job, in order to get attention from people who you are interested in, what can you do? There are a hell lot of advices about that, how you can make your life practically better. And I watched hell lot of videos about that. I watched so many videos about the topics that at some point I understood I already know this information. I don't need to hear it again. Because at the end of the day, a hell lot of content creators create pretty cyclical content. They create one piece of content, and after some time this piece of content appears again in terms of, yes, we already covered it, but we want to cover it right now from a different point of view. Basically, this overall video I kinda already covered in a different video, but now I'm looking at it from a different point of view. But that is not the main point of current video. The point is, I learned a lot about building self-confidence, self-esteem, about building your appearance so people recognize you, about behaving yourself in some specific manners so people see you when you come into the room. But did it help me? Straight again, rather not, because it is a good thing to know something. I could tell about that a hell lot of people, and on this channel I created a lot of videos about these topics, about building self-confidence, about developing yourself, because I know a hell lot of information about that. But that is one thing to know something, and completely different thing to actually practice it. And I do my best. At some point I actually unsubscribed most of these people because they didn't provide any new information. That's the reason number one. And the reason number two, I understood I don't need to learn so much anymore. I first need to understand how I deal with this information, how I deal with my environment in terms of people, and what can I do actually for myself? What can I apply to my life from this whole theory that I learned. And based on that, actually, I can provide better advices to other people, because a hell of theory is not really connected to the real world. It doesn't have to be. It is theory. It's like what it is about. It is an assumption on a lot of occasions, and maybe statistics on a lot of occasions. But something that works in theory doesn't have to work in practice, and that is what I personally suggest you doing. You learned about something, try to apply it in your life and see whether it works for you at all, because it may not work. And then this knowledge will be just not for you, maybe for somebody else, but not for you. And if some information is not needed, then maybe you shall just take this information out of your head and throw it away. Because why would you store information that you don't need? Overall, this video again is one of a lot of call to action videos that I have on this channel, because I personally strongly believe in the fact that more people shall actually do something. Less people shall complain their whole life about something and don't do anything about it, because a lot of occasions we can do something. Not at all of them. There are a lot of complications, a lot of context that can prevent us from doing something that we actually want to do, or maybe from some way of development. And it is okay, it is fine, life is kinda like that. But if you can look at your life and can see that you have this ability to actually practice, to do something, to develop yourself, to maybe like gather these pieces of experience, and not just knowledge, like real experience, why not do it? On the other hand, in my personal opinion, at some point you shall stop learning more about this practical stuff. You shall practice it. You shall not try to gather even more theory, be even more prepared to practice it. At some point you shall just give in and jump in cold water. Because I personally believe in the fact that if you will continuously only follow others, only follow ideas of other people, you will not develop your own. If you will only develop others' theories and not develop your own theories, not gather your own practical experience, you will stop at some point at this, like you will stop moving forward. You will just stay at your place and look at this person at the top, instead of actually looking under your feet and going to the top on your own. I hope you understand what I mean. That's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If it is the case, please drop a like and also subscribe to the channel. You can also leave a comment, and I see you on the next week. Yes, have a great week.